In this session, I want to talk to you about the mode option. The mode section is located at the bottom of the layers panel. If you don't see this option, click the second option. This option will be displayed. Again, if this option is not displayed, right-click on this section and check the mode option from the column. We will get to know almost all layers option. Now the question you may ask yourself is, what is the use of the mode option? As you know, in addition to creating motion graphics and animation, the After Effects program is also used for visual effects. Suppose you want to create an explosion scene in After Effects. There are many sites to download a free footage. One of these sites is Vidizi. Search for the word you are looking for in the search field. For example, I have typed explosion and all footage related to explosion is listed for me. Different types of explosions will be shown and you can download whichever you want. I downloaded this explosion. You can see a preview of this explosion by clicking the play button. Of course, most of these footage are transparent, which you can directly enter into the After Effects and place them on your video or animation without any problem. Now for you to understand, I downloaded the same footage and imported into the After Effects and imported into the Layers section. You can see that the footage is displayed without background. Use S key to scale the footage on the stage. As you can see, this footage is displayed in the background without any problems. But suppose that you want to use a footage in your project that has a black background. For example, I downloaded the same footage with a black background, which I imported into the layer section. As you can see, this explosion is not useful in this scene, and we need to change its mode. In the mode section, you have to choose one of the color modes. And you have to choose one of these options according to the color of the layer and background. For example, I choose a screen. As you can see, the black background of the explosion has been removed, and you can see the explosion without any background. You can also try the other options and choose whichever one is best for you. Well, let me give you another example. Sometimes this mode option doesn't work properly and you have to use other techniques. For example, consider this fire which is in the GIF format. I downloaded this fire and I imported it into the layer section like this. I will move it and place it here. Now if I change the mode of this layer from the mode section, you can see that sometimes this option doesn't work properly, and you have to use other methods to remove the background. Another use of this mode option is to remove solid background that you create in the scene. If you don't have any layers on this stage, you can use the effects in the effect menu. For example, I create the lens flare from the effect menu and from the generate section. If this photo layer didn't exist, these options would be disabled. So to use these effects, you must create a solid layer with a desired color. To create a solid, select New and then Solid from the layer menu. With these settings, I click OK and solid is created. Now you can use all the effects. Again, from the effect menu and generate section, I select the lens flare option. You can see that the effect has been created on the solid. You can move it and place it anywhere you like. You can even change its setting from the effect control section. If you don't see this panel, you can activate it from the window menu. In this section, you can change the lens settings. For example, I set the lens type to 105mm. And in the flare brightness section, you can increase the light intensity. Now, in order to remove the background of the solid and see the lower layers, we must change the mode of this layer. I put it on the screen. You can also choose other modes and see the result. Each of these modes displays the layer in a specific way. Whichever of these options you choose, its mode will change. So it can be said that the mode option is used to change the mode of a layer, that you can choose different options yourself and see the result. Now I will delete this layer to check another option. I will delete this lens flare effect in this layer from the effect section. Suppose that we have a black background in this part, and by changing its layer mode, we didn't get the result we want. And we want to test another method. I will return the mode of these two layers to default. In this situation, we must use an effect to remove the background of this image. I select this layer from the effect menu and keying section, select the linear color key effect, or search for the color key from the effects and presets section and find it from this section and place it on the desired layer. From the color key section, I click on this dropper and select the black color around the fire. You can see that the black background around the fire is removed and you see the fire transparently. You can do exactly the same thing for explosion layer. I select this layer and drag the linear color key effect and drop it on this layer. From the key color section, you can click on this dropper and select the black color around the explosion to remove the black background. You see the explosion transparently. This effect also has settings that you can change. For example, in the matching softness section, you can specify the amount of softness. Depending on the different videos you import into the After Effects, these settings may be different. You have to change them to get the desired result. Now, in order to see this scene as a loop, I will press N to shrink this work area. I will move this fire and place it here. I also place this explosion on this house and increase its size with S from the keyboard. So you are familiar with the mode option and the linear color key option to remove backgrounds. If your video has any background with any color, you can remove it using this option. I will give another example. Add this teapot with steam to the timeline. First, change the mood of the layer using the mood option and see if the background is removed correctly. If the background is not removed correctly with this option, you can remove the background color by using the linear color key effect. I drag it on the layer and choose eyedropper tool and select the background. You can see that the background is properly removed. So you notice that this effect is not specific to black and can be used to remove any color. So this method can be used to remove the background of an animation or GIF.